Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This guy I believe is probably in his mid-40s or so. He's been watching the channel for a few years now, and he writes in and he shares his story. A couple points to the story. One, how he's made one heck of a comeback in the last 10 years after his life definitely kind of, I wouldn't say hit rock bottom, but it wasn't a bad place. At the time, he had this best friend they've been friends with since their 20s, and they were always there for each other. And you're going to see in this story how he makes a choice that he is going to, whatever he has to do to move up in the world, move up and better his life, he's going to do it, even if it takes a long time. And he does this on multiple fronts in terms of job, income, losing weight, buying land, all these things. It's great. But the friend of his did nothing but basically feel sorry for himself and be a loser lump of crap. And guess what? That friend is now resentful of him. And you'll see how this whole thing goes. And only now, recently, has that guy come back in his life. And obviously, he wants to freeload off him. And I'll be very going to go over here, guys. And as you heard me say many times, there's a point where you may have had friendships, but there's a point where you may have to cut them off. And the reason is typically is because they hold you back. And I really want to hit home about this video here is that you can have certain friendships that are fantastic for certain stages of your life. You know, when you were like a teenager in high school, and then in college in your 20s, and different stages of who you are. But you'll probably notice, and some of you probably picked up on this, as a growth-oriented individual and trying to always improve yourself and take it to the next level in some capacity, you'll notice that some friendships work for a certain period in your life, but they don't work long term. And maybe they were good people then, and they still are, but it just didn't work then. But other people they could have been worked for a certain stage in your life, but as you're moving up, they become resentful. They become jealous. The ugly side of human nature comes out, and you realize they're not your friend, and you definitely have to cut them off. And that's what you're going to see in the story here. So for all you guys out there that are really looking at your life and saying, hey, I want to improve things. I want to lose a bunch of weight. I want to get a better job. I want to do this, whatever it takes, because I'm tired of not going anywhere in life. And knowing you have the ability to make it happen, you're going to have people that are going to be very resentful, very jealous of that. And they may very likely try to screw the whole thing, sabotage you. And those people you got to cut away like a cancer. Or maybe at best, they'll just stop hanging out and talking to you. Because by you trying to improve yourself and have success and visibly being shown to the world, not in a showing off way, but people can tell, they're jealous and envious. And it's easier to have nothing to do with you because you doing something reminds them that they're doing nothing. And they want to hate on you. Now, you got a whole world of people that are jealous and angry and pissed off and want to hate on people that are doing well for themselves, but are completely unwilling to get off their butts and take a chance, take a risk, and put in the time, make sacrifices. So those are the people you do not need in your life. Okay, so his story starts off saying, hello SSM. I've been a long-time follower of your channel, and it's really helped me out. I made some major mistakes in my 20s that led me to a battle with severe clinical depression and thoughts of ending myself in my 30s, but finding your channel and community has really helped me greatly. Brother, that's wonderful. That is so great that this channel, and not to mention all the great guys in this community over the years, has helped you push through everything and not end yourself. You know, I mean, that's one of many reasons why I do this. We got your back, guys. I can honestly say that people like you and other great guys from other channels are doing more to help men who are struggling with problems than the totality of the healthcare system. As such, you have my deepest gratitude. Well, brother, I'm glad I could help. I'm ready to get some advice about a friend, Harv. His name is changed for obvious reasons. It's a long and boring story how we both got here. Both of us struggled with depression and other problems. But the important fact is that since high school, Harv and I have been ride or die kind of friends. The sort that you could call at 3 o'clock in the morning with a problem, and the other would just ask how many bodies need to be taken care of. Well, that's a good friendship. The problem is I know how the story is going to go. Even with so-called good or great friendships, sooner or later, human nature can come into play. The ugly side of human nature, like envy and jealousy, that could ruin a good thing. I don't have many friends. To be honest, I never have. I'm just not the sort who makes friends very easily. Like Jack Burton, I'm the sort that sooner or later I rub everybody the wrong way and they ditch me. I'm just not a good person when it gets down to it, but that's me. I'm sure you're a lot better than you give yourself credit for, man. It's just that probably as you get older, you have less tolerance for people's BS. And there's a lot of BS out there. The older I get, the fewer friends I have, but the ones I do have, I enjoy greatly when I see them and talk to them. But frankly, I can't stand people. Individuals is one thing. People being out with the masses, oh God, drives me crazy. And I'm noticing when I talk about it in the comment section, a lot of you guys are the same way. Well, here's the rub. After finally getting treatment for my depression, neurochemical imbalance, a real one caused by 2 TBIs when I was a kid, I was able to start getting my life in order. Wonderful, man. I'm glad you sought out treatment. Well, we both decided to set out to do truck driving. It was an adventure for us, something interesting to do that paid well and would let us see the nation. Well, the lot of the story in that whole escapade, not going to go into it here unless you decide you want to hear it, but here's the highlight. He quit during the OJT mentorship and lied about it, and I run in with the cops over some very foolish things. That started a rift, I think. He goes into his details what happened with his friend and the cops. They were living together. I can't talk about it on this channel because of certain words here, but he did something stupid, not realizing it, and just trust me on this. So the rift began in their friendship. When we came back, I moved into my old RV at my aunt's property so I could save money and do things on my own. Trucking had been very bad for me. I'd already gotten overweight from depression, eating, but I ballooned up to 340 pounds while I'm 6 feet tall. That is still a lot of baggage. Holy crap, you're a big dude. Well, bro, you're putting yourself on a path to end your life ending very quickly when you get that big. Yeah, I'm sure being on the road all the time and no exercise, eating junk, but you got to take care of yourself. But I know you do. The result was I became diabetic and lost my CMV medical card, so I couldn't drive anymore. That's what happened. So much for the body positivity thing. People get big enough, long enough, they get diabetes and other issues. I took it in stride and set out to changing my life. At this point, I was in my mid-30s, so life was ahead of me, back in around 2017 or so. I decided to stop crying about the inequalities of life and women. Long story, nobody wants to hear, trust me, and do something with my life. Well, good for you, because nobody wants to hear whining. We want to hear, okay, crap happened. I decided to handle it like a mature adult and go on a path of improvement. And that's what you do, and that's good. A lot of people don't do that. I started looking for work and got to it, doing some odd jobs at first, but I found a job at a metal fabrication shop before moving on to a position with a computer company where I am today. Since then, I've worked hard to be useful, learn skills, getting certifications and experiences. I started doing general retail sales and am now the senior managed service technician for the company. I'm an IT geek and I like where I'm at. That's great, man. Did you guys notice here? I'm going to read this again. He started looking for work and got it, doing odd jobs at first, but found a job, and then he was able to move up and so forth and move to another place and work your way up. The key part about what he just said there is odd jobs at first. A lot of people have the idea that they're going to turn 18 or 21 or maybe 22 after college, they go to college, and they're going to get this high-paying job immediately. It's going to be easy. Oftentimes it doesn't work out that way. If you're a low man on the totem pole, you got to do some crap jobs for a while, get somewhere you start off in the beginning, learn some skills, certifications, constantly improving yourself, and in time you move up. But a lot of people are so misguided and entitled that they don't want to do the dirty work. It's just a process. You'll get there, guys. You just got to do the shit for a while. Builds character and appreciation. Anyway, the owner had seen my work ethic and promoted me, got me training, and gave me good raises, so I'm now living quite well. Bravo, brother. It's a process, and you did it. Good for you. The last 5 years, I've had 2 goals in mind: get healthy by losing weight and buy land so I can build a home. Good goals. While I'm still working on getting healthy, COVID schwacked me hard and money got super tight. I've successfully dropped a ton of weight. I went from 340 pounds to 265. Wonderful, man. Shit, that's 75 pounds. That's awesome. Good for you. Keep on going. The older you get, the harder it is. Primarily, it's diet. And when I say diet, I mean just eating healthy and calories in, calories out, and other things like that. But the diabetes, I'm sure, doesn't make it easy, but you got to exercise too. Lift weights, lift heavy, but do it in a safe manner. And I'm not telling you what to do. This is just entertainment. Remember that. But remember, whenever you're about to make any changes, always consult a doctor. Do an annual physical. That I can tell you to do. Annual physical with the doctor, just making sure everything's okay. Not amazing, but it's made a huge difference in my life, and I am continuing efforts to drop more. Good for you. You'll get there. But my long search for property proved fruitful after 4 years of searching. Last year I started the process and closed it this year, and I'm now the owner of 5 acres of land in an incredible location. That's awesome, man. 5 acres gives you some good space from the frickin' neighbors. I have a plot on top of a mesa where my nearest neighbor is 1 mile away, and I have amazing views of 2 mountain ranges and valleys. I'll attach the scene. It stopped my heart and told me I'd found my home. That's awesome, man. Overall, I'm working on discipline, getting outdoors, being active, eating right, working hard, and improving my life. I have savings and retirement and no intention of going into deep debt. The only note I hold is for my truck. Well, good. Then don't go into deep debt. In other words, don't get married. And don't get involved with a girl that, the second you get involved with a girl, you're going to be spending more money, that's for sure. But if you do, not your business. Just stick to your discipline. I relate this to give you some perspective and comparison from my friend. So now we're getting into you hear what this guy's been doing. He realized he didn't like his life, decided to make change, and it wasn't overnight. But it's still a process for him. This is progress. This is how it's done, guys. Now watch about his old friend Harv and what he chooses to do. In that same time frame, he hasn't done anything of note. Well, that's most people. He did find work as a dishwasher for a restaurant and has become one of the cooks now. Some folks look down on jobs like ours, but I see them as honest livings, and I'm glad for them. Well, I don't look down on them. A lot of guys in here wouldn't look down on them, but a lot of people do. Fuck them. He did move out of his grandma's place, but not by choice. He and his younger brother, a real grade A F-up pothead who is worthless, got an apartment because his aunt threw them both out and partly paid for it. That didn't go well, as his younger brother's nothing but a leech and refused to work. An awful living situation for both of them. There you go. I told him repeatedly, just kick your brother out, but Harv would always shrug and say, yeah, like he agreed, but he never would. So he has a weakness for his brother. Guys, don't waste your time with people that are parasites, that are leeches. There's a whole world of people out there that just want to freeload off you. Don't do it. And yet, as the story goes, we can see that Harv is also one of those. It just festered and stewed for 2 years until their parents moved back here from the Carolinas. He was a machinist at a very big manufacturer and made 6 figures, so he supported the whole family. He also offered to sponsor all 3 of his sons to go through the machining program there, but none of them took it up on it. There you go. And he's talking about this dude's dad. With a new safety net, or so it seems to me, he dropped the apartment and broke the lease before moving back in with his parents. So now he is back with his parents. For God's sakes. And look what you've done for yourself. Mind you, he is in his late 30s at this point. The whole time I was telling him not to, that he should get a place on his own because his younger brother was just following him there and nothing about the situation was going to do him good. I still helped him move in and was glad to see his parents again. They were good folks and I loved them like my own. As I predicted, nothing changed. He still did nothing to forward his life. He just sat at home at his best, spent his best time with some girl he was so-called friends with. So, he's moving back home with his parents because it's easy. That's why. Probably mom will cook for him and do his laundry and all that. He's in his late 30s. I'm okay if a major situation happens, guys. And even if you're in your 30s or 40s, a major situation happens. Who knows what you go through a divorce and money and you get fired and money's tight and there's all these problems and stuff like that. If you go back to family in the short term where you're getting things together, I'm okay with that. And then you get your shit together and go back out. But this guy, and there are people out there like this, that'll just go back and be easy and freeload. Be a leech, not being their own man. This is ridiculous. And I might add, bro, while you're trying to better yourself, you have the old best friend that's nuts. This can bring you down. I still helped him move in, blah, blah, blah. Nothing changed. The truth is sad because even my dumbass could see the writing on the wall. She was with her baby daddy's boyfriend, a volatile couple, and they only ever called him over to buy food, drive them somewhere, or babysit the kids while they went out and screwed each other. This is his friend here's lady friend. He would swear up and down that they were just friends, all the while jumping whenever she called him like a little lapdog. He's taking any female attention he can get. I tried SSM, honest to God, I tried to reach him. I showed him your videos, talked to him, tried to get him to see the truth, but he just wouldn't listen. Because you telling him the truth and hearing from someone like me would make him feel like shit. He knows deep down, let's be honest, he's a fucking loser, nothing going for himself, but it's easy just to pretend nothing's wrong. But when he sees someone like you who's doing well, or hear from someone like me and talk about the topics I talk about, that's going to make him have to accept the fact that, guess what, he's a big fucking loser. He just let it go one ear and out the other. The only result is that he simply stopped talking to me. He didn't want to hang out, go do stuff, or even talk. He basically shut me out and stopped responding to me. He kept trying. I kept trying because he was my friend, my brother really, but nothing ever improved. He's not being your friend. He's not being your brother. And he's shutting you out because he's jealous of you. He's envious of you. Your life, what you've done for yourself, the turnaround, shows him what he could be doing, but he's just a lazy lump of shit. Let's be honest here, slob. And he doesn't want to have to see that, so he's distancing himself from you. Then last year, I got a devastating call from him. His dad had gone to the hospital for a bad bug he didn't get treatment for. And, the worst happened, and he passed that morning. Even writing this, it hurts. I genuinely cared for that family. I dropped everything and headed to their house to support them in their time of need. That was a very hard week for us, all of us, and through me and Harv, we started talking again. As things were getting done and funeral arrangements were made, I kept asking about the service so he could take the day off. But Harv just kept dodging me, not saying anything. I was getting annoyed as I learned that day from his mother, but he still wouldn't say. I just decided to go anyway and told him I'd meet him there at the funeral. What he said next rocked me, probably more than it should have. He told me no. And I asked why, and he evaded before I finally drew it out of him, and he didn't want me to go to the funeral. He didn't want you to go to the funeral? You've known this guy, and you know his family, and the dad for all these ages, the parents really liked you, and he doesn't want you to go to the funeral? Probably because he's jealous of you. Probably because he probably thought the dad liked you more than him, which is probably truthful. The dad probably said things like, why can't you be like your buddy, whatever your name is? Seriously. He's jealous, envious. This is not a friend to have. This is seriously, man. But I'm doing this video to make the point. And what happens when people will use you. I honestly had no words for that. I think I popped a mental fuse or something like that. I just asked him if he really didn't want me to go to his father's funeral. And when he said yes, he just hung up the phone on me. I don't care whatever emotional shit he's going through. He's being a douchebag. You've been a good friend to him. It's not worth your time. This is where you cut people off. This is like I said, guys, you can have friendships that you think will last forever. You're thick as thieves, ride or die, whatever, guys that, would hide bodies for you, that type of thing. But then human nature, the ugly side of human nature can come in. And if you start doing better than them, it can get ugly. So it's unfortunate. Maybe I'm too sensitive, but that one hurt me, and I meant hurt me very bad. No, dude, that's not being overly sensitive. I don't trust very easily, having been abandoned by my dad, neglected by my mother, cheated on, denied, and spit on by most people I've encountered. I learned that trust is the greatest and most sacred commodity in existence, and I don't give it easily. Harv was the one person in the world I trusted implicitly with my life. Sadly, you should never trust anybody that much with your life. Human nature is too ugly. To me, after everything stated above and more, I realized that trust had been broken. After that, I stopped calling or texting him, and he seemed to ignore me. Hell, if I know why, best guess is that bad person in me coming out finally, but whatever the case, I just let it drop and carried on. Doesn't sound to me that you were doing anything wrong, man. I think it's your natural defense because of all your abandonment and mistreatment by your family. The people that should have loved you the most, your parents, you just described what your family life was like. So naturally, you have trust issues. I don't blame you. And trust issues with people in general and that. And your natural thing is must be something I did to screw it up. Well, guess what? People are a-holes. But it's possible you also tend to attract people in your life that are going to do what you're used to. There's a fair argument there. But to me, it didn't seem like you did anything wrong. It seemed like he was just jealous of you. Since then, I paid off my land and been working to get the house started. I wrote the first draft of my first novel, and I got it through an editor for review, so I'm working on a second draft. Dude, you're a man on the grind. Seriously, you're writing a book and go for a book series, I guess? That's freaking cool. I also had the ever so fun time of a pair of coworkers accuse me of S-word harassment at work. Thankfully, their accusations were met with incredulity and evidence to the contrary, but it's still a deep wound. I never expected it from them and never been anything but friendly to both of them. I keep coworkers at arm's length, don't shit where you eat regardless of how attractive they are, but for some reason they took a disliking to me. Probably because you weren't hitting on them. Or who knows, whatever reason. This is why women in the workplace, you don't date them, you don't get in relationships with them, and frankly, you don't be alone with them, and frankly, just you do your job, that's it. But I've covered stories about guys that avoided the gals in the workplace and got complaints because they were avoiding them in the workplace. You can't win. Of course, it's worth mentioning they were always going after each other, flirting and not doing their jobs. It was obvious that they were having an affair. He was engaged, and I suspect that she got pregnant. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. This has all put me on a very foul disposition and started a new depressive run. I've been working to counter it, watching my meds, exercising, and working on my novel, but it's been a very bad year. Well, as things usually go, they do get messier. Horror popped back into my life, just showing up to my house one day. After all that, how he's been treating you? Does he think that since we're such really good friends, you'll take me back no matter what? Gee, what does he want? No apology or answer, just acting like nothing was wrong. Personally, I've been friendly, could use a friendly face right now, but keep him at arm's length. We've had dinner a couple times and watched a movie, but I'm not hanging out like we used to. He just kept bitching about his family and living conditions. Then made a joke about how he might just follow me into the desert. I think the look on my face doused his expectation on that, and he quickly asked if there was any properties near mine. I told him that he would have to look because I wasn't searching anymore. He's bitching about the family situation he's in, and yet he's doing nothing to get off his ass and make something himself be a real fucking man like you are and get out of there. Because probably now, my mom needs me now that dad's gone. Sure. He has mommy taking care of him. And now he's trying to, obviously, freeload on you. This is very irritating because before all the BS, I had invited him to move out here with me, tried to get him away from the negative influences, and he shot me down flat every time. And what he did last year, I'm honestly not in the mind to have him move out anywhere near me. It's been so many years of BS and a complete lack of willpower to do anything about it. Correct. You're two different people, man. You guys worked during a certain time period in your life, but not anymore. You're two different people. You can have friendships that are really great for certain periods of your life, guys. And then as you grow and move on, which I'm hoping all of you guys grow and move on to better, greener pastures, you're going to have to leave some people behind. Otherwise, they're going to just hold you back. And a lot of times they're going to be jealous as all hell of you. Your so-called best friends end up turning out to be your worst enemies. I spent that time working to make something of my life, sacrificing comfort and pride to live in a shitty old RV just so I could make a future that I own and no one I owe on. After all the BS, he just wants to piggyback off my efforts and not do the work himself. At least that's how I see it. Dude, I wholeheartedly agree with you. That's what's going on. Because he's been freeloading off his mom and dad, then dad died, now he's going to come off you. So SSM, given what I've said here, do you think I'm being an unreasonable a-hole? No. I don't want to cut him off in my life, but I honestly don't see how I can keep moving forward while he sucks his thumb and sits in his own excrement. That's funny. Well, that's pretty much it. Heaven knows I'm not perfect and maybe I could do more for him, but I'm just tired of it. Well, what has he done for you? When was the last time I did anything for you, dude? I'm tired of being the one everyone thinks they can betray, piss on, and turn their backs on, just walk like it's nothing. Well, then don't tolerate it. I cut my father out of my life. He never really tried to be in mine, and I only met him twice. Along with that went my half-siblings, but they never really gave a shit about me anyway. My mother is a kidult, and to this day acts like she's in high school. I frequently just have to tune her out, as she only calls to gossip about her friends. Women don't change. My mom is 80 years old. She gossips about her friends too. My cousins cut me out because of other family drama I wasn't even involved in. All this used to bother me, and people used to be able to talk their way back into my life. Well, don't let them talk their way back into your life. I'm sorry about your life, man, your childhood, your family, so-called family, but that doesn't mean that your whole life has to be like that. I've realized that it's all gaslighting and manipulation now, and I flat out call them on their BS. Well, good for you. I don't let people manipulate me anymore. Maybe I take it too far and I've gotten mean, but I'm beyond done being that kind of person. I got a problem with that. I'm telling you, when you get to be about 40 years old, guys, and definitely older than that, you stop taking BS anymore. More and more, you're going to call people on their crap and not care. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to make you immensely unpopular. I'm just telling you right now, you're going to have few friends, but the friends you do have, the real good ones, are going to be gold. But most people are going to like you when you stand up for yourself. However, since I've been watching your videos and others, I have learned to let go of my anger. I'm very much still a work in progress, but I've managed to control my temper in bad situations. Family drama, cheating husband of a cousin nearly got his world rocked because he got in my face, but he backed down when he realized I was twice his size, blah, blah, blah. I'm taking things in my stride and working to building a good life for me and my dog. That's great, man. Progress takes time, but look how much you've done. You know, I'm proud of you. I don't know if I'll date again. If I do, it'll be at arm's length, honestly. But for now, my only plans are for me and my pup, with maybe another, as I've always wanted a German Shepherd. Get a German Shepherd. German Shepherds are beautiful. If I was a dog person, I think it'd be a German Shepherd. It's too hot down in Florida for a husky. I don't have enough land for the husky to run around. If I was back in Pennsylvania where my family was, because they got a lot of land, that'd be good for a husky. But I'm a cat man. I got 2 cats that behave like puppies. It's the perfect world. But do you think I'm being too hasty? Am I right to not want a once dear friend back in my life? Anyway, sorry for the length. I didn't intend for this to be so long. Don't know if it's worth being a video. Friendship is something men have in a way that women don't understand. And for people like me who don't get friendships very easily or often, it's maybe too easy for us to let behavior go that we should not. Perhaps I'm just a dumbass and going the wrong way. I don't know. With my trust violated on such a level, I don't think I can ever let someone that close again. Anyway, even if you just read this, I want to know what you know, and I appreciate the work that you do. Thank you. Well, brother, I got to say, I think what you described there of your comeback, it's great. You're doing a great job. Progress and success doesn't happen overnight. And look where you came from, you know, just a very bad time in your 30s, depression, thought about ending yourself, and then you start getting better. You made the choice. And all of us have the ability to make a choice, but a lot of people make the wrong choices. And I like how, you started with odd jobs, then you got hired somewhere, learned some skills, went someplace else, learned more skills, moved up, better pay, all that. Then you said, okay, I'm going to get some land, got some land, live in an RV for a while, paid off the land, now you're building a house, all that. You lost like 75 pounds. It's a process, and you're doing great. Meanwhile, your so-called best friend, and notice in the time that you were rising, he was staying put or going worse, right? And then when you were doing much better, he was resentful of you. I bet you probably his dad says, why can't you be more like that? Which usually I shouldn't say, because that doesn't end well. But the point is, I guarantee he was jealous and envious. And now, obviously, a situation where he's living there with his mom and it's not going too well. Now he wants to come have freeload off you. I say no. And this is why I say, guys, that, and I mean this, I said in the beginning, you can have friendships that work really good for a certain period of your life. But when you move to a different stage, usually in terms of growth, there are times you got to leave people behind. It's just what it is. And if they're really a truly good, honest person, then that's different. Don't leave them behind. But if they're not such a good person, or you discover they're not such a good person, as in being jealous and envious of you moving up in the world, and they try to sabotage that and make you feel bad, those are the people you cut out and move on from. I can't stress that enough. So this guy, I would cut him off. And it's probably the hardest person. You have experience cutting people out of your life. Well, this will probably be the hardest one. But there's a point. Does he do anything to add to your life? No. Has he been supportive of you all along? No. Has he been a good friend? No. He's cut you off when he let you come to the funeral of his dad, who the dad liked you a lot. What does that say? He's only there to get something from you. That is not a friend. And again, it's better to be alone than to have a-holes in your life. But I do think it's a possibility that you have if you will, ability to kind of attract the wrong people into your life, and that can happen a lot, and that's a whole other conversation, that type of thing. And it's interesting how that can happen to people over and over again, depending on where they live and the situation. But for now, I would distance yourself. And if you got to have the talk with them, the breakup, if you will, then so be it. But it's not your problem anymore. And if right now it's just you and your dog, And then maybe you get another dog, a great German Shepherd. Great. You live on your great land with a great view, 5 acres, a mile away from the nearest neighbor. That sounds like heaven on earth to me, man. But I do love where I live here, where I have a lot of neighbors within 1 mile of me. Shit, within like 50 feet. But they're good people. But putting that aside, keep doing what you're doing and keep on the weight loss, eating healthy, long-term, lifting weights at the gym or going for walks. I mean, shit, just walking your dog, you're going to burn a lot of calories, and just long-term goals. And then on to the next goal. And when you're writing your book, that's awesome, man. Keep on going. It could turn out to be a series. And then maybe you do so well that I guess we don't have to work anymore with assholes that are going to make problems for you, But just take it one day at a time and you're going to get there. But again, I would cut them off and move forward. And again, guys, the overall theme of this video is how people can use you. And there's a time period where eventually you got to move on because those friends that were great for a certain period aren't so good for the long term. So, brother, good luck to you. Maybe 6 months to a year. Let me know how you're doing, how it goes, and I wish you all the best. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. If you like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.